Butler. Kendrick Perkins standing by. And Perk, you just heard the conversation with Fred VanVleet. I have such an appreciation for that young man going back to the Wichita State days, famously as the draft party doesn't get picked and said, we're good, I'll be all right. And man, he's been a great pro wherever he's been. He was spectacular tonight, has been these last three. What have you seen from him?
Well, you see, we're witnessing that championship leadership, Scott, all across the board. In a game like tonight, you have a young Rockets team going on the road, and all of a sudden, Fred, the floor general, the leader, sets the tone all across the board. Third game straight with 25 plus or more, but he's doing it and getting it done in all ways, right? We see the assists, we see the rebounds, but we also see him keeping his composure, which is rubbing off on the rest of the young guys to stay engaged and stay true to their identity. To the identity, and that's the defensive side of things, Scott. Tonight, the Warriors were horrible offensively because of the culture and the defensive intensity that the Rockets came out with, which was a huge win, man. A huge win all across the board. Great minutes from Thompson. Great minutes from Dillon Brooks. But Steven Adams was a force all across the board. Him and Şengün was punking them in the paint. I don't know if Golden State have an answer for it. And shout out to Ime Udoka for staying true to himself and playing that double big lineup. It was a beautiful thing to see.
I have to imagine, given who you were, your identity in this league, you know, bringing that lunchbox and getting in the paint and doing all the dirty work. I mean, Adams, you heard Fred raving about what he brought. That's a season high in minutes. You said it, Perk. I don't know what answer Golden State invents between now and Sunday night for the Şengün-Adams double big lineup. What do you do?
Pray. And look, I'm going to take Scott, I'm going to take a little credit here now. I actually raised Steven Adams as a rookie in Oklahoma City. But you think Steven Adams is worried about physicality?
No.
You know what Steven Adams, you know what he does in the offseason? He go back to New Zealand and he go hunting for wild hogs with no shoes, no socks on. This is nothing to him. You think he's scared to stepping up to the free throw line and making some shots? But man, just them being a force on the offensive glass. And Şengün, I can't say enough about him. I call him Baby Jokic, filling up the stat sheet all across the board. Draymond Green, the former defensive player of the year, a guy that was up for it this year, he needs to show up and show out and do something, because right now he's not helping Jimmy or Steph or the Golden State Warriors. And maybe, in my opinion, Steve Kerr may have dropped the ball a little bit by losing Jonathan Kuminga, by not playing them in the play-in tournament and not playing them in this series, because his athleticism and size is needed right now.
That's interesting. I wonder if you could just try to turn that light on for Game 7. It's a little too. Seems like it's too late for this particular series, and I don't know if it's too late for Golden State, Perk. And I mean, I would never just dismiss who they have and what they've done as a group. But you look at that Game 5, Perk, right, where Houston jumps them early, up like 40-something to 24 in the first quarter. And at that point, if you're Golden State, you knew you had Game 6 in your back pocket. We can go home. We can get that. Well, now they don't have that. Now they've got to rally. I don't know how they do it. This feels like a Houston team that's about to punch a ticket to make it to the semis. Do you see the same thing?
I'm feeling the same energy as you, Scott. And you're right, that Game 5, what it did was it gave the Rockets confidence, especially the young fellas. You got to think, you know, Tari Eason, he wasn't shooting the ball well. Thompson twin wasn't shooting the ball well. All of a sudden in Game 5, they started knocking down shots. They started getting their swag, and all of a sudden they're comfortable coming into your house, which we saw this tonight. Like, they're like, hold on. So we could attack y'all, and y'all not going to impose y'all will and not bring the physicality? I just don't know what else Golden State could do. Maybe Steve Kerr make an adjustment and try to bring in an old vet, a champion, in Kevon Looney. And I don't even know if that's going to cut the mustard at this point.
You got to give Houston the credit that they earned. It's a two-point game in the fourth quarter in a building that can be great. And, man, it was dead quiet those last 5 or 6 minutes because VanVleet, Adam, Şengün, that whole group led by Udoka setting the tone. I'm with you, Perk. Stunning is not the right word because this is a 2 seed for a reason. But I don't think a lot of people saw this one coming. I appreciate you, Perk. We'll carry on next week with whoever comes out of this one, okay?
All right, thanks, Scott. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. We say goodbye to Perk for the moment and listen in on Ime Udoka after the big Game 6 win.
Full team contribution. Off night from a few guys, and others came in and stepped up. But, yeah, obviously Steven was big as far as with Alpi got some fouls and then knocking down the free throws and doing what he does defensively. So it all helps, but good to have some vets as well.
Do you believe in like the whole playoff mode thing, and do you think that that's something that Fred has been able to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I think people, especially veterans, know the urgency of the playoffs, and it gets monotonous at times through a regular season, and so sometimes pace themselves, save themselves for the right moment, and obviously Fred came out not shooting his best, and he's had some really good stretches lately, and so he knows what it is. He's been a champion, been there, done that, and so wouldn't expect anything less than that from him.
Coach, in 6 games, you've seen just about every version of this Warriors team. To have that kind of spirit coming down from a 3-1 to tie it up at 3-3, I think that's been a theme for this team all year, but how was it from your vantage point, in this kind of environment tonight?
Oh, it was good. It was fine. I think, we knew they were going to come out aggressive, and for us it was do more of the same, more of what we've done. Defense travels, our physicality and our awareness has improved throughout the series, and in general, I think our young guys aren't really fazed by things. They just continue to play through it, and like you guys mentioned, they have really good veterans that steady them at times. And so, for us, it was just continue to do what we did to get here. Even in the games that we lost, we didn't play our best. We played the average game at best, and there were some one-possession games. And when we've played good basketball, we've had some blowouts. And so that bodes well, knowing that we can kind of ramp it up there. And if you just have an average or above-average game, you'll be in good shape.
Coach. Coming into this game, the previous 2 games, Fred has shot like 67% from 3 or close to it. Do you expect them to continue sort of devoting so much to shutting down Jalen Green and kind of letting Fred do his thing?
Yeah, we talked about that. We like them on the court together for that reason. They put one of the better defenders there, but guys are really setting screens. I think our pace has been better, and so you're getting a lot more freedom and wearing them down a little bit. So we'll see what they do. They've switched lineups quite a bit so far, but at times it feels like they're going for defensive lineups out there, and then offensive, you can only have a little bit of both. And so Fred's been aggressive, picking on that, and if they do adjust with Jalen, he'll have some freedom as well.
You guys really came out swinging in that fourth quarter. What did you like about that sense of urgency that you saw from your whole team?
Yeah, we were a little disappointed, that they won the third by 3. We let them score 36. That's way too high for us. And felt we had opportunities to kind of push the lead up like we did in the fourth. We got to 7 or 8 a few times and lost guys on cuts in our zone, or they got offensive rebound. They had 9 second chance points in that quarter. And so we felt we were right there to kind of cracking it open. And, we came out and did that. And after giving up a 36-point quarter, other than the last 10 that some of their third unit got, we held them to 13 in that quarter. So really good bounce back defensive quarter, 1 for 16 at the 4-minute mark. And so did our job there. And then obviously kudos to our vets and Steven for sitting up and knocking down the free throws. And that's where we extend the lead.
Like they've done earlier.
Udoka and the Rockets were able to prevent the fourth quarter run, which just never came for Steve Kerr. His comments on the Game 6 loss at home.
An energy level situation was a loss of confidence. Just generally, what would you explain?
I didn't like our first half with the turnovers. I think we had 10, and that's the key to the whole series is our ball security. And so the 10 turnovers in the first half got us off to a rough start. With that said, we're down 2 going into the fourth. And I thought the key play was the 4-point play to start the quarter, and that's on us as a staff. We've got to be we got to make sure they're matched up, and they just threw it. We didn't guard Van Vliet. They threw it up the floor, and he knocks it down and gets the free throw, and that felt like a game-changing play because it's like I said, 2-point game. We're right where we need to be, despite not having played very well and turned it over quite a bit.
Steve, do you see a common thread or commonality with the turnovers? Such a big issue Is there something that's similar between them? Or
We have the 3 wins in this series. We're averaging, I think, 10 or 11 turnovers. So it's just we're in a rush. We got to slow down a little bit.
With that being said, I mean, there was the 4-point play, but I think you guys missed like 14 of 15 shots in the fourth quarter. What happened offensively, would you say, during that stretch?
Well, they were in a zone. They played Adams quite a bit, and he's at the center of that zone, kind of a 2-1-2. I thought we got some good looks against the zone. But then once they pulled away by 10 or 12, it was easier for them to run us off the line. We had a lot of openings, but they were using their length to run us off the three-point line, knowing that we had to make threes to get back in it. And I thought they did a good job of kind of running us off the line and keeping us from, knocking down threes to get us back in the game.
It would kind of seem outside looking in that you guys, your issues are not being able to solve this zone. But from some of your answers, it sounds like you feel okay about what you're getting against it. I mean, do you go to Game 7, believing that you can? Like, how much change do you think is needed against the zone, or not?
How much change?
Yeah, how you're attacking it, personnel, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's playing zone offense is really about getting the ball to open space and then filling behind the play and moving the ball. And like I said, we've had a lot of good zone possessions in this series, and I thought we had some tonight. But I think we'll do a better job in Game 7. We've got another tape to watch, and we'll see some things. But it's definitely been a factor. Adams was fantastic tonight. 31 minutes, probably the most he's played in a couple of years. But he was so effective that Ime kept him out there, and they controlled the game while he was out there. We fouled him, and then they got a couple of rebounds after his missed free throws too. So that wasn't very effective ultimately. So we got some things that we can clean up. We got a Game 7 though, and we're excited about that.
Coach, 37 from 90 from the field, 15 for 49 from beyond the arc. Do you think fatigue played a role in that?
No, I don't think fatigue was a factor.
Obviously, Game 7, maybe everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table for Game 7, for sure.
Yeah, given some of the struggles maybe some of the other guys are having, even taking a shot, but definitely making them. I know it would be a lot to ask a guy who hadn't played a lot. Is Jonathan Kuminga on the table to play?
100% he's on the table. This. We've kind of found a formula here in the latter part of the season, and we've stayed with that formula to start the series up 3-1. Things are going well, and then obviously the last 2 games have gone very poorly. We have to assess everything and lineup combinations, starters.